Hello, hello. Guess what? It is me again, live again for I think this is like the fifth time I've gone live today. I don't know. I'm just going live all day today because as you guys know, if you don't know, well you're gonna know now. I have my new book, Soulmate Dog. Yay! I'm so excited. So, and I have my beautiful friend Carol here with me. And Carol was kind enough to be on. I'm gonna see who I can see who's on Facebook too. On my phone because it doesn't always show me on StreamYard who's listening. Carol was kind enough to be on my launch team. So what that means is she got to have like a pre-advanced copy and take a look at my book before anybody else, which is so cool. So the reason why I am having her on, like I did the other people earlier, is just to kind of get a glimpse into like what they thought of the book and ask me any questions that they had and just to, do something fun and different. So I would love Carol to introduce herself and maybe just a little bit about the magic that I know she creates in the world. And her website's right there if you want to check it out. So, yeah.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm trying to think of how long we've known each other, probably a little over a year. But I have had Shauna on my Facebook Lives for quite some time on her amazing animal communication. I'm Carol C.C. Miller. I'm a positive life strategist, peace activator, and global hugger. My whole work that I do is to help heighten celebrations and lessen sorrows through a positive focus in a variety of ways. But what I connected with Shauna with, it's especially like my soul dog passed away 2 years, it'll be 3 years? Be 3 years this September. So I do not currently have a dog, but just listening to her stories and the connection and her talking to my Mika for me, it's just been the work that she does is so healing. So I was excited to hear that she was writing this book and even more excited that she completed it. And hello, Amazon best-selling author that you are. So yes, this book is amazing, as is the work that you do. So I'm really excited to be here to talk to you about it, ask you some questions, and share some stories. So
yeah, I'm so excited you're here with me, and it's always fun to connect with you too. Just in case you guys don't know, it's the second Thursday.
yeah.
Yes, the second Thursday of the month at 9:30 a.m. Pacific. I'm with Carol on her Positive Focus Facebook page, her Embrace Your Life Facebook group, and her Carol C.C. Miller page. So we talk about animal communication. She does a lot of other lives too that are amazing, just to throw that out there if you guys want to tune in there. But I'm excited to talk about my book and hear kind of what questions Carol has about it, because it's cool. Because when I had Beck and Sharon on earlier, they all had different questions. So it'd be cool to kind of see what questions Carol has. It's so fun.
Absolutely. And I have several written down. So let me see. Well, first of all, March 3rd. Why did you decide? I know you've been working on this book for a while. Why did you decide March 3rd? What made this day special? Or was it? Maybe it was just the best day that your publisher had for you, but why March 3rd?
Yes, I love that question. And hey, Alyssa and Linda. So, what March 3rd, it's a really significant day. So, Luna, who the book is inspired by, and it's about her journey with me and my journey with her, when she made her transition, it was actually March 3rd of, okay, let me get the date right, 2017. So I can't believe it's been like 5 years today since she's been gone. So the reason I wanted to have the book launch on March 3rd was to honor her memory and like a new part of our journey and a new part of our chapter together. And just a reminder that, like, even though she transitioned on March 3rd, it's just a different presence that she has in my life that's still very powerful. It's just in a different way. It's in a different kind of tangible. So that's why I chose March 3rd. So thank you for asking that. I love that question. So
Do
great.
you recall? I don't recall if it was in the book or not. Do you recall the day you got Luna?
You know what? Yeah, the date, like I wish I had the exact day. I want to say, I believe it was like January 17th of 2005, but I know it was like in January of 2005. I don't know the exact date, but I'm pretty sure it was around that time. And the reason why I remember that date is that's my parents' anniversary. How amazing is that?
Nice. Well, and it was so fun reading the book because, again, I've known you for a year, but this book is really a story about you and you becoming more of you and Luna's help of uncovering the best version of Shauna possible. So it's exciting to see, like, I've known you for a year, so I did not know that past experience until reading the book. It's like, oh, that makes sense. Or, oh, I wonder how that unfolded. And so my next question is, when did you realize that Luna was your soul dog?
Oh my gosh, when did I realize it? So like I knew it when I first met her because I felt that connection with her, right? I just knew it right away. And it was shortly after she came into my life that I just knew. I was like, okay, there were moments where I was like, oh, okay, this is a lot, but I just knew we had that connection and it just, developed over
Yeah.
time. And it was like, okay, yep, there's no doubt about it. And she really was like my greatest love and the best relationship that I've ever had in my life. So I was like, my ex-boyfriend, my ex-husband, like the relationship I had with Luna was better than them. So it's just because she had that unconditional love with me, right? And all of that and just pure love, pure
Well,
love.
yeah, and I just think it's interesting because I mean, you have dogs now and you had other pets throughout Luna's life with you. And as a child, I had cats, dogs, I had a monkey once, I had a goat, I had hamsters, gerbils, all the different kinds of animals you can have. And I've had two dogs as an adult. And I love both of them. But Mika, who's the one who passed away 3 years ago, she was my soul dog. Like, I loved all the other animals I've had. Some of them were pain in the necks, but you still love them. But so I don't know what makes that special, special bond that you have with that one. And I know you've met my friend Jamie, who's a dog behaviorist, and she was the one who had talked to me about that before, that there's just that one that has that, like, you love them all, especially if you're an animal person, but there's that one that just really has your heart. So I was curious as to when you noticed that, but that was immediate with you.
Yeah, it was. I just knew. I was like, oh my gosh, it was like I had always known her when I met her. Because I used to work at the Humane Society and somebody I work with was fostering her and her 8 puppies. And so she's like, knew I was wanting to adopt a dog. And she's like, you should meet the mama dog and adopt her. And I met her. She brought her in. I happened to be on a lunch break and it was just so natural. I just had that connection. I was like, okay, cool. This is like my dog. I just knew. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
And I don't have a story offhand from the book, but I love how you were able to, because Luna was she full lab or lab mix?
I think she's a lab mix. I never did the DNA, but I kind of have a sneaky suspicion that she might have had a little bit of shepherd in her just because of her
Yeah.
tail and her nose. There's just something I feel like she might have had a little bit of shepherd in her.
Yeah. My mom had a lab, um, purebred lab, and just some of the stories of what you would say were learning experiences for you, where I would say Skylar is in trouble again. I loved how you were able to take the experience of Luna's behavior and turn it into like how to see it and how to stay present. I think that's one of the things that your book really describes very well. And it's just such a good lesson in life that we go through hard times. It's like life isn't rainbows and unicorns all the time. It would be super nice if it was, but it's not. And how Luna was able to keep you present rather than stepping into the future of what you weren't looking forward to or reliving the past that you did not want to relive. But she just kept you present in those moments with her shenanigans, shall we say.
Right. Yes, definitely shenanigans. And oh my gosh, and that was just, some of the shenanigans. There was more that, I couldn't put all the stories in the book as much as I wanted to. It's like, okay, I just kind of picked and chose the ones that were like.
So that's a question I don't have listed here, but I'm sure she helped you in the writing of this. Were there stories like she's like, oh no, you cannot include that, or did it not matter to her?
Oh, it didn't really matter to her, but what was really cool is there was certain stuff that she wanted in there. She's like, okay, share this one, and you don't really need to share this one, but share this one. So she definitely was helping me along the way, like, okay, yep, nope, this is good, and maybe not this one and this one. Because there was one I wanted to put in there and I didn't put in there. So there I had these those Chinese balls that they make a sound, you hold them together and they make that kind of that sound. I forget what you call them. It's like they're kind of like magnetic and they make a sound. They're really cool. Well, I had these and I had them in this beautiful like fabric box. And well, when I had first got Luna, she had actually chewed up the box. And luckily she didn't chew up these like magic little like balls. I forget, I don't know what you call them, what the official name is, but luckily, you know, she didn't do that. But there was a story that I had wrote about that, but she was like, she actually like had me kind of not put that one in the book, which is okay. So I was like, okay, she's like, there's better stuff than that.
So we're going to talk about it now, Luna. So, oh well.
Right, exactly. Right. I'll get it in there somehow. Right.
And then I try to write them down because you have several pets that you talk about in the book. So Jovi,
yeah, because I love the name Jovi. I love Bon Jovi, so that's why I named my cat Jovi. What can I say?
How can you not love Bon Jovi? I mean,
exactly. How can you not love Bon Jovi?
That's a given. Mm-hmm. But so let's see if I get it wasn't Jovi. It was Leo and Rex.
Yes.
So Rex is a dog that came to you first. Leo is a cat that came after Rex was gone. I don't know how many years were in between, but explain that relationship and how you came to realize there was a true soul connection.
True. Yeah. Luna actually helped me realize that because they just knew each other right away. Because as Rex, like we were so bonded and so close. And then when I got Leo, I just felt such a connection with him. And I was like, oh gosh, I feel this pull like I felt with Luna, right? And it was like my soul cat. And anyway, it just, when I brought him home, I was like, oh, okay, they just knew each other. And it makes sense because of course his presence was always around me, you know, even after he had passed. And he came back as Leo. And it's so funny because when he was Rex, he was cat-like. And when he came back as Leo, he was more dog-like. It was so funny. It was really interesting. So.
That is interesting. And just saying the dog-like, cat-like. Mika was a 4.5-pound dog, but she was had cat-like tendencies. And I had these windows in my loft at the time that, I mean, they were heavy windows. You could not and she's 4.5 pounds. So it wasn't like she could easily open them, but they open like, here's the window wall, and they would open this way. I left it open enough that somehow this little, I call her a flying squirrel, got in the window, but could not get herself out. So I came home to my dog being in the window. So, the first, and there's a screen on the other side, and then there's my balcony. So she probably, had she gotten freaked out, could have easily scratched that screen off. So I don't think she was bothered by it. And I still don't know how long she was in it. But the first time I saw her is the key here. I'm panicking, like, oh my gosh, you know, you poor thing. I get her out. And so I make sure to just keep the window open in a space that a hamster shouldn't even be able to get in there, let alone her. A week or so later, I come home, she's in that window again. I'm like, okay, twice I'm taking a picture of you before I get you out of the window. And somebody told me that her breed, she was a Miki, tends to be cat-like and likes to sit in windows. I'm like,
oh, jeez.
She's like, I'm told me, but it was just like, because even when I came home, she was not, I mean, she was wanting out to see me, but it's like, why are you putting yourself in this space?
You're like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm making my own window spot. She's like, you don't have one for me? I'm making my own. Right? Like,
exactly. But okay, so another question I have is, how does it feel to be a published author?
It feels so surreal. It's like I can almost like pinch myself right now. It's like, whoa, I'm like, it's real, you know, like I look at it and then I see it on Amazon. It's almost like I feel like I'm in not my life right now because it just feels so weird. It's like, wow, it's like, it feels so amazing. And it's like, wow, I just want to reach so many people and inspire them with Luna and I's story and just enlighten them and share the love and the wisdom. And it just doesn't seem possible. It's like, wow, okay.
It just did it.
But it is, and it's such a good feeling. It's like, yay, I did this thing. And I'm so excited for people. I had people pre-order their books and I mailed those out yesterday. And I'm so excited for people to get those. It was so fun to like sign those and just, it was so neat. It was so cool.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to my copy of it. So that'll be exciting. Yes. And then, and I think it's important to realize also, because this book again is about you, it's about your journey of going through hard relationships and the adoption and meeting your birth family and just growing into your true essence. So it's not like
Mhm.
writing a fictional story or even just writing about Luna. This is fully about who you are. So did it
Mhm.
feel vulnerable or scary, or was it all, I mean, because you are a giving, helpful person. So did it come from a space of I don't care, I want to help, or were there parts of you that like, oh, this is a little vulnerable, but I'm going to share it anyway?
It was a little bit of all of that. So it was like there was like, okay, I need to share this. It's so important. And then there was parts like, oh, this is really vulnerable, but I need to share it because it's important for people to see that. Because I had this thing called endometriosis, and I don't know, a lot of people might not be familiar with that. And I was almost not going to share that part, but it was important for me to share with how Luna helped when I had the surgery to really recover and not have that anymore. So it was like I wanted to share those pieces, right? And then sharing the pieces about meeting my, birth family, and, about not knowing who my biological father was, and then finding out after, like through ancestry and all that. It was just is really, sharing those pieces. I was like, okay, it was
Yeah.
nerve wracking, but I wanted to share with people because I felt like it was important for them to see like how Luna helped me to, be able to embrace more of who I am. So it was like in her honor, I felt like it was so important to share those things with people, right? To help enlighten.
Yeah, well, and I think it really deepened the connection that you had and other people have with their pets. Like even reading it, like again, Mika's been gone for 2.5 years now, but it made me like different stories of like thinking back about like I wish that I had me. I wish I knew you when I had Mika. That would have helped a lot. But
Hmm.
it would have been I could see the connection and how different things played out because of our soul connection. And when I got her, she was 7 months old, and the people had purchased her from a breeder, and then I got her at 7 months because they were highly allergic to her.
Oh wow.
Even even though she was a hypoallergenic yada 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 dog, they still were allergic. So from getting her at 10 weeks to 7 months, they really didn't pick her up or do anything with her. So when I got her, she was just this stiff little, like, I'm going to break her. She's so tiny. And she was just stiff in my hands. Like there was nothing. And it was like a 5 hour drive back home. And once I got her into my loft and put her down, she just started playing like I'm home. Like it was a completely different dog from the dog I picked up 5 hours earlier. And
Wow.
she still was an anxious dog. There didn't mean that all
Mhm.
of her 7 months of beginnings went away, but she definitely was feeling at home and knew that she was in the right place. Because those 5 hours, like she's so tiny, I'm gonna hurt her somehow. What am I doing here? But
Oh.
it was we had 15 and a half years together, so it was wonderful.
Oh, how beautiful! Like that I love that you were able to steal from my book and remember those stories, right? And it
Yeah.
enlightened that in you. And that's what I really love and want people to know, because it's like that love is all alive. And it's that connection that you had with your Mika. How beautiful that she opened you up and you opened her up. And
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Well,
And
and
that's,
I think that's what's so nice about your stories. Yes, we're all who are reading it are learning about you, but you also are incorporated in seeing your own relationships with your pets through your stories. So it's autobiographical, I guess you could say, but there's still so much wisdom for the readers to take for their own animals, not just to learn about your personal experience. So I
mhm.
just say it's just it's a touching book, and there'll be times you're going to be tearing up. I promise you that too. But it is very touching. So my
Oh,
next
thank you.
question: so the animal communications that you do, when did you first discover you had that ability? Not that when you honed it and became a professional with it, but what was your first experiences like with communicating with animals? I
I
like to
think
call Shauna my Dr. Doolittle.
I love it, Dr. Doodle. I love that. Dr. Doolittle. People have called me that before too. I love that. Because when I was a kid, I always had that connection with animals. I just don't think I realized what I was doing, right? I didn't know. And I remember Gosh, when I had my first ever animal communication session, it was so cool because I had a picture of this dog in my head and she was exactly what she looked like when I met her. And really, having Luna, she helped me to kind of undiscover through my communication with her, like, hey, like I'm going to nudge you in this direction. And then Leo came in to help too, like, hey, here we are. And then Linus, and it was
Now,
so cool.
is Leo the one that Jovi kind of like you saw in Leo's eyes, or you got an image of Jovi again that showed you that it was the right?
Yes, then it showed me it was the right one that was like, yep, it's okay for you to get Leo because it was after Jovi passed and it was like she gave me her blessing and I was like, okay, because he just literally like fell into my lap almost. It was like, okay. I was like, I'm getting a kitten, I guess. I was like, all right.
Yeah. So what is the so you had these experiences as a kid and you grew into it, and then was it through Luna that you started taking classes, or were you taking classes prior to Luna?
No, I didn't take any classes prior to Luna. It was after Luna that I started to take the classes. And she helped me with having the confidence in myself to like, okay, you can do this, you can do this. And she's always like a willing, like, participant to help me like expand my knowledge even more. So
Hmm.
she was always really gentle about it. It's funny because my two dogs I have now, Nugget and Cool Up, sometimes are like, okay, Shauna, they're like, what would you be telling your people right now? They're like, come on, they remind me of things all the time. And Luna did too, but Luna was in a more like kind of motherly, gentle way. A lot of times where these two, they're like, okay, we're fire. You've seen them run around sometimes on my lives. They're like,
Yeah.
okay,
I can't believe I don't see them right now. So.
yeah, they're in the other room. I was like, okay. I was like, during my lives, I don't want you to be crazy. So
So now that this is a profession for you, and I know personally that you've helped me, even with Mika, who's been gone for a long time, but I know of several people who you have helped with pets that are here and then pets that are transitioning. When you started doing this, what would you say is your, I don't want to say accomplishment, but the thing that you love the most about the work you do?
oh my gosh, the thing I love the most is like that connection, being able to deepen the connection with people with their pets and be able to touch people's hearts. Like some of my favorite, I love all the sessions I do, but some of my favorites are helping people when their pet is transitioning or has transitioned, just to be able to be there, that support system for people, right? Because it's such a hard time and a lot of people don't understand the sacred connection that we have
Yeah.
with our pets. So to be able to be somebody that understands that and help them with things like that, that's so important to me. And then rescue pets too, because because Luna was a rescue, right? And so are my two dogs I have now. A lot of people don't understand rescue pets, and sometimes the things that they come with, they're little quirks, but I'm inspired to help people with like figuring out like, hey, this can help them and this can help you, and this is what they're brought to help you with, and you're helping them with this and they're helping you. It's all of that.
Yeah. And I think you might have mentioned this on an earlier, I don't remember that I read it in the book, but I know I saw it on an earlier live about the anxiety. Like Mika, she was 4.5 pounds and she had anxiety issues. I cannot imagine if she were an 80-pound dog with anxiety. But they really do pick up on your, like, she would get anxious, so I get even more worried about her. And then that just hyped up her anxiety. So it's like to remember to stay calm in situations so it didn't feed them, because they are just so much closer to I don't know, but what do you say about that as far as them picking up on your energy and how you're reacting to things?
Oh yeah, they definitely do. And hey, Christy, thank you. Yeah, they definitely pick up on all of our stuff. Like, oh my goodness, they totally pick up on all of our energy, right? So it's like we're anxious, they pick up on it. We're happy, they're super happy, right? They pick up on all of that, right? They totally do. And it's interesting. So earlier today, I've been so excited today because I'm excited. My book launched on Amazon today and all the stuff so exciting. So earlier today, my dogs were just being so crazy and so like wound up. And I think it was on one of my videos I was doing actually. And it was like, okay, I was like, wait a minute, what are you guys doing? But it's like they were picking up on my like excitement. So they
Yeah.
were super excited too. So the animals in our life amplify that. Like, Mika did with, and she would show you things, just like with Luna, when she would show me things, and I was like, wait a minute, like they remind us to kind of take a step back and be like, okay, what's going on right now that we may not be paying attention to, or maybe that we need to pay attention to, that we need to focus on? What is that in this moment?
Yeah. Okay, so that kind of leads into the next question, which is, what is the hardest part of doing the work that you do?
Oh gosh, the hardest part is helping people when they have a lost pet that's like missing, and they're trying to find their lost pet. And it's hard to do that. Sometimes it's like I've helped in some cases, but then sometimes it's just like I pick up on what I pick up on, and I'm not able to give people any clear answers. I give
Yeah.
them what I pick up on, but not being able to have that closure for people can be really hard. That concrete closure. It's like that's
I
like
think
that.
that it's so important because you hear just in the human experience, people say losing a child is the worst possible thing, like a death of a child, which is
Mhm.
awful. But to me, the not knowing where your child is, they're missing, like at
Mhm.
least in the death, you have that closure. It's not pretty, it's not something you want, but you have a finality where if they're missing. And the same with a pet. If your pet's missing and you don't know, did somebody take them who loves them and they are fine? Are they scared someplace or hurt someplace? So I don't know why I didn't think that that would be your answer, but that totally makes sense. That would be a
Yeah.
hard part of the
Yeah.
work you do.
That is it is a hard part about it, but I'd love to help people with that, because it's like, hey, if I can give them any insight, that means so much to me to be able to do that, right?
Yeah.
So,
So what
mhm.
was the easiest chapter to write?
Oh gosh, the easiest chapter to write was the last two chapters. Well, actually, no, yeah, that like the last those ones came and flowed really easily. Like the kind of the last trip that Luna and I had on the coast, and after she had passed, those were probably the easiest ones that just kind of flowed through me. Like the ending, I wasn't sure how I was going to end it, and then when I went in and worked on that part, it just came. I was like, okay, here we go. What do we need in that part? And yeah, that's. Mhm.
Nice. And the hardest part, the hardest chapter to write?
Probably the hardest part was the beginning. Like, how do I start this, right? Like, how do I begin this book? Do I need to, add more of this or have less of this? That was like the hardest part to kind of like fine tune, was like those first like couple chapters.
Because it
So,
was like a 10, 11 year span, what between the start to the end?
oh yeah, I had her 12 years. So
Okay.
yeah. So, yep.
Yeah.
So,
Um, what do you want people to get out of reading this book?
oh goodness, what I want people to get the love and the love and light and the connection that they have with the pets in their life. That's what I'm trying to not get
Just
distracted.
ignore
I'm like,
that.
okay, I'm
And it
not
looks
paying
like it's
attention.
on YouTube, so you'll just be able to pay attention to that.
Yes, I'm not going to pay attention to them. They're like,
Yeah.
okay, so there we go. So anyway, so what I want people to take away is that love and that light and that connection with the pets in our lives is always there. And I want people to like read that and be touched by the stories that I had with Luna, and have that bring up memories for them, to know that connection that they have with their pets, and to help bring healing for people with that too, and to help people open up like, hey, maybe my pet is communicating with me in more ways than I realize, and I want to explore that more and see how I can work on that more and learn more about animal communication. Because to me, the more people that do animal communication in the world, the better, because that means more pets can get helped, right? And more people
Yeah.
can get helped. And to me, that's what it's all about. So.
I love that. And what are some signs that Luna gives to you to know that she's around?
Oh, there's so many beautiful signs. So there's this truck that I only saw after Luna passed, and it says Heartland Express on it. And what's so beautiful is yesterday, I kid you not, after I had mailed off the pre-orders yesterday, I was driving on the street, and like, what was it? Like, I was going to and my next destination to pick up my Kangen water that I always get. And there was a Heartland Express truck on my way there, and I was like, okay, that's a sign that she's like, yay, we did it! Like you mailed off the books, and it just that those are ways she comes to me is through that Heartland Express truck. And then I have this beautiful crystal that I got that she comes through, and I have this dog figurine that I'm just looking up at right now that she comes through. So she sends me signs that way, and sometimes she'll even come through. Hey, Bobby Joe, she'll even come through Nugget. I'll feel like, I'm like, oh, you're channeling Luna right now. And I can just tell by different mannerisms she does. So she comes to me in that way, or I might see like a lab, I'll be out and I'll be like, oh, I really miss my Luna. And I'll see a lab that makes me think of her. And yeah, they send us so many beautiful signs. And sometimes they can be so subtle like that we might just dismiss them. I'd be like, oh yeah, that's just another dog, that's a lab, and I like labs. But sometimes if we take that moment to really dig deeper, we can realize there's so much more that we don't realize is going on in the moment, right?
Yeah. And so the stories of like Jovi and Leo and Linus, did Rex know Luna?
Yes. No, he did not, but he did as Leo.
Okay, well, because that's what I was going to ask you. So, like, Mika was my last pet. Then I had Shalisa before her. There was probably 10 years in between, at least 5. Time goes so strangely. But do our pets on the other side gather with other pets that we've had that did not know each other? Like, does Luna know, like, maybe childhood dogs that you might have had? Is there that, or are they completely separate?
No, they have that connection, and they know, like, so she knows those pets, and the pets that she may have encountered in other lifetimes. So they definitely know that, and they feel that connection, right? Because even if we haven't met somebody in physical form, we can still have that connection. Like my bio dad, my biological father, I should say, I didn't meet him in the physical realm because he passed away before I knew who he was, but I still feel that connection with him, right? And so it's just my parents' dog Tori that they had. I never met him in person, but I have that connection with him because I'm connected to them and they're connected to me. So it's like all of that, connection piece, right?
Yeah. So not Luna, Rex came back as Leo.
Mm-hmm.
How about Luna?
Luna, you know what? She has not come back yet, but I see her coming back. I keep seeing her coming back as a Great Pyrenees dog. I love Great Pyrenees as those big, beautiful. Oh, they're just so beautiful. So I see her coming back as like a dog like that eventually, or a horse. And yeah, I see her doing that. I'm like, okay, so we'll see. I feel like now that I wrote her book, she's like, okay, you did the book, so maybe I can think about coming back because you got that done. So,
Yeah.
right? So.
I know Mika, again, being so small, I'm like, I haven't gotten another dog. I don't know that I will, but I'm like, come back to me. And knowing her personality, because she had a large personality in that small body, I'm like, she's going to come back as a Saint Bernard. I just know it.
That's what I just saw in my head was a Saint Bernard.
Yeah, it's like, no. Carol is not owning a Saint Bernard, a dog bigger than her, weak stomach on cleaning up after pets. That is not happening. But
yeah, because
that would be exactly what she would do, is just to experience that.
I wonder if they have mini Saint Bernards. I don't think they do.
A mini Saint Bernard is probably still 60 pounds. So it would need to be a micro Saint Bernard or something. So
right. Exactly. Like they have those. What do they have? This is one of those craziest breeds I've ever heard. It's like a Pomsky, so it's like a Pomeranian Husky.
Oh my.
Right? And interesting, right? It's like, okay.
So, I hope the Husky was the mama, is all I can say on that one.
Right, exactly. It's like, okay. Yeah, so, yeah.
I think I have asked you all my questions. Oh, I did have one. So, Linus was not an instant connection for you. What made you decide, even though it wasn't instant, that it was the right connection for you?
Because of the connection that he had with Leo. It's like Leo and Luna were so bonded, but then for Leo to have another cat, and they connected really well together. So I was like, okay, I'll keep, I was like, and I had tried to be like, okay, like I know this cat needs better than where he was. And I was like, I felt compelled to be like, hey, I'll take him in. So, he had a place. And was just like, okay. I just was like, okay, I meant to keep him for whatever reason. And I'm so glad that I did, because he was such a good boy. And I was like, okay, there was something with that. He was brought into my life for this reason. And there was something that I needed experience from him and he needed experience from me. And I'm so glad that I had him in my life. It was such a beautiful thing.
Yeah. There was one story, and I don't even remember what chapter it was, but it reminded me of being kind regardless, because you don't know the backstory of other people. And it was you and Luna were on a walk, and a small poodle like dog was standing its ground, like growling and stuff. And Luna obviously could have taken that dog in a second if she wanted to, but she didn't. And you could just feel that dog had gone through something, and that's why it was acting out that way. And I just love that story of, like, sometimes you look behind the story, what's going on, to see why that behavior is happening, rather than just condemn them for the behavior that's happening. So
Yeah, because you don't know what the story is of why they're like that. I mean,
yeah.
Luna, when I first got her, like, to throw a tennis ball to have her catch it, like, she was like terrified of that. So I was like, okay, like, let's work on this. Let's like work on throwing the ball in a different way. And then eventually she, worked through that really well. But it's like, because you don't know what experiences they had. And like when I moved with her the first time, about that in the book, and how she chewed through like one of my favorite books. Like, I don't know what moving brought up in her before she was with me. Maybe that was like the time that her other people are like, okay, get lost, dog, so you don't know. And then, it's like what her experience was with that. So I was like, okay, wait a minute. I need to show her and remind her that she's loved. And of course she's going with me and all of that, right? I need to remind her of that. So,
Yeah, but I think that's an important part too, because it's easy to jump into the why did you just destroy my favorite book, rather than seeing the backstory of why it might have happened. So I think that a lot of animals get probably abused because of jumping into you're a bad dog, rather than your behavior could be looked at, kind of thing. So I think that these stories in the book will demonstrate that for people. It's kind of stay present, pause before reacting, and see what's there for you to learn from.
exactly. Amen to that. Exactly. And that's exactly what I wanted to instill in people, is that right there. That's huge. Yeah.
Well, I learned it from you on that book. So thank you for
Yay.
writing it and sharing your story with others. I think it's going to be very helpful for people. And I think it's going to solidify their bond with their own pets, whether it's their soul dog or if it's just a dog that they love a lot. Because I've loved all the dogs in my life, but Mika was definitely my soul dog. And if she comes back as a Saint Bernard, I'm going to have to tell her no.
Be like, no.
No,
Like,
you
no,
can
no.
be a friend Saint Bernard that I visit. That's fine, but I will not be owning a Saint
No.
Bernard.
You're like, I'm not picking up after that kind of dog. That's,
No,
no, no, no,
nope,
no.
nope, nope. And Mika would laugh the entire way, I'm quite sure. So,
Sure she would. She'd be like, yep.
so you're almost done with. Well, you're not done. You're 2 hours ahead of me. So your day has been filled with all this excitement. And how does it feel nearing the end of your first day as a published author?
It feels like so surreal. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm like still. It's like I'm tired, but I'm like, thank you, Vicky, thank you, in a good way, right? Vicky says congratulations. I'm tired in a good way. It's like it feels so like invigorating. It's like I just want to like be like, oh wait, okay, my hair's on my head. I can pinch myself. I'm still real. I'm still here. It's like it just feels surreal when people say, oh, you're an author. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like I am. It's like, okay, it's like it takes a little bit to get used to that, because it's like, wow, okay, I am. It's like, wow, okay. So it's really,
Well, you put
really,
your heart and your soul into that book. So I hope you are proud of what you've accomplished and what's to come with it. Do you have any? I know it's just day one, but where do you see this going for you, and what is it that you want to do next?
oh gosh, I want to do some more animal communication classes. And then one thing that I'm really working on is to go with the book, just because there's so much wisdom and so many different lessons that Luna taught me during that. I want to create like a little card deck for people where it has little pieces of her wisdom, and then they can just kind of pick a card and have that help them through their day, right? So they can
Yeah.
read the book where they can get that little wisdom of the day. So I'd love to do that. And I actually would love to write more books too. I'd love to do like a children's series and another book too, maybe more focused on like kind of like a how-to animal communication book. I think would be really great. That's definitely something I would love to do as well.
I love it. I love it. I love
Mhm.
it. I love it. And you still can get sessions on doing readings for animals that have crossed and animals that are still here. I just realized somebody on the Positive Focus asked about wanting me to do something about the having a hard time with they have a 16-year-old dog that's, near the end of its life. And so I'm like, I will talk about that somehow, but please come and join me on the Thursday that Shauna is here. And she was under the impression that you only talk to animals that have crossed the rainbow bridge. So I'm like, no, no, no. She will help with any of it. So I do think how you had said that helping in those times, how that's so touching to you. It just makes me think of when I do free hugs that, I mean, I get a lot of people who are excited and they've had birthdays and they're celebrating things, and those hugs are lovely. But the ones that mean the most to me are the people who are in sorrow for whatever reason. Their husband, their elder
Mhm.
husband has passed and they miss his hugs, or there's protests going on and things like that. Those hugs are the ones that even touch me at a deeper level, to be able to comfort somebody. But I love the celebrations too, but comforting people is something that I know you are excellent at. And I'm glad that you're there to support people, because our fur babies are our babies.
They are, yeah, and I think that's why I like those because it should be able to give people that comfort, and it's so important because they are our babies, right? Like
Yeah.
they are indeed. So yeah.
And you had was it, I think it was Jovi. I'm sure with Luna too, but that you were able, because your communication, to be able to know that this is the right time. Because like even with
Mhm.
Mika, I knew, but I didn't know. It's like
Mhm.
I knew, but it was still like you wanted that word from her, like, yes, it's the right time, because you don't trust your own opinion on it. So
Because it's hard, right? Because it's hard.
yeah,
'Cause, like, even though we know it's like our human mind gets in the way, because it's like, oh, they look like they're doing better now, and then but
yeah.
it's just they want to remind us of that joy. So that's why in that moment, sometimes those last moments, they're reminding us of the joy because they want us to be in the joy instead of the sadness.
I love that idea. I hadn't even thought about that,
Hmm.
because like Mika did a little bit better like the morning before. And it just reminded me, and this is not a good analogy because hair is so much different than the loss of a pet. But it's like the day you go get your hair done, it's like, my hair looks awesome today. I don't need to go to the stylist. Yesterday I needed to go. So it's like, stop it. But yeah, I think that's a beautiful experience, that they want to leave you with that image of them feeling and looking well, rather than looking like it's time for them to go.
Yeah,
So
yeah, because
th-
they do. They want us there. They're all about love, light, and joy, right? They're so much about that.
Yeah, and I don't know if you follow the work of Abraham Hicks, but they have said that our animals, that they can come and go, like they're not attached to the earthly plane. The ones that stay longer for suffering purposes, they are attached to us. So they stay longer because they know we need them there, rather than their need to be here. So, they're there to help with our journey along. So
Yes, amen to that. They are. Absolutely, they are. That's their journey helpers. As that like as Luna amplified, right? So it's in my
yeah.
book. So it's just so cool. They're so amazing. And I'm just so excited that it's out there in the world. I'm like, yay. And I mean for the next 3 days. So today, tomorrow, and Saturday. So the third, fourth, and fifth, people can get the download on Amazon for free, or you can buy the copy from Amazon, or if you want to buy a copy, you can reach out to me and I can send you an autographed copy with a bookmark. So yeah, if you're inspired. So if you've been inspired by this, check out my book. And then if you read it and you're like, hey, I want more people to know about this, feel free to do a review on Amazon too, because that definitely helps. Because I know for me, I look at reviews, or because it can be
Yeah.
weird. If you're kind of like, oh, I might like that book, but I don't know, I'm not sure, right?
Well, and because I'm not you, I'm going to push that a little bit more, because there are some big name authors out there that people simply buy the book because they know the name and they don't need the support. It's the independent authors that Shauna has just joined into. So, yes, you can download her book for free and you can, as your energy exchange, leave a review, or you can support her and purchase the book as well to support her in the work that she does. It is so helpful to so many people. Sign up and get a session from her. She's the real deal. Her heart is bigger than anything, and she is wanting to help you with your experience, with your journey with your pets. So buy the book. If you really can't afford it, download it for free, read the information. That's what she wants out there, is the information. What I want out there is her being supported by the work that she does in the world. So that's what I'm going to say. And I can't wait for my autograph copy to come in.
Oh, thank you so much. That means so much because I'm not always good at like tooting my horn like that. Like, hey, you know, I did like that support helps, because it really does. It helps.
It's hard
so
to toot
much.
your own horn. That's just kind of natural. So
It helps so much. And thank you, Kate. And then
hey,
let's see.
Kate.
Thank you, Kate. Hi, Kate. Oh, thank you, Kate. She said Shauna's amazing. Her support and readings are spot on. Thank you so much, Kate.
And Kate has a book coming out soon too. April, I
she
think.
does. I know. What actually is it this month? I want to say is it March 21st?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I do remember seeing that though. So that's exciting.
I'm excited for Kate. That'll be so good too. And so yeah, support those local authors too, because it's so important. So thank you for reminding of that, Carol. And
well, and I do think it's important because I know that you want the message out there more than the financial support. But in order for you to do the work you do at a larger level and helping more people, the financial support is helpful as well. At this point, not to say that it's not happening, but at this point, you are not Elizabeth Gilbert and the people just buy the books immediately or have publishing companies doing all the work. So please support her. She's amazing. If you've done any of the lives with me where she does readings, she does her own on Sunday nights where she does free quick readings for people. All heart-centered work goes on with Miss Shauna Fisher. So
thank you so much. And all heart-centered work goes on with you too, my friend. So check out Carol's stuff too, because it is heart-centered as well. And thank you, Trina. And then Kate, March 21st.
March 21st, okay.
Yeah, and you're welcome, Kate. Yes, and you shine on too, sister. That's amazing. That's what it's all about. Like, it's how can we, like, to me, it's like I want to get my message out there, but I also love to share about my friends too that are doing amazing stuff in the world. Like Kate has her book coming out, and then Carol, like,
and Kate is shaking it up. That's what she's doing. She's shaking it up.
Yeah, shaking it up. And then Carol too, with all her stuff too. I mean, she does these amazing Facebook Lives Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and she's all about positivity. She posts so many inspirational things, and it's just reminding people that there is love and kindness all around in the world. So it's so important to remember that. So thank you, Carol, for shining your light and for coming on with me and for being a part of my launch team and for sharing this time with me too, because I just thought this would be a fun way for people to hear other people's experience with the book too, because sometimes it helps to hear other people's like insight and all of that. So I love that so much, and I'm so grateful for all of you for tuning in live and for listening to the replay. And I have the link about my book in the comments. And
we did not cover, and I know you covered it earlier, but the free gifts that you have.
Oh yeah, so I have some. So I am doing this. Let's see here. I'm gonna be down here for a second. So I have these cool prizes that I'm giving away. So I haven't showed Carol these, so I'm so excited. So if you're interested, say like which prize you're interested in. So this is prize 1. Let's see if I can do this right. So it comes with these. It comes with this mug that says "I woof you." These 2 magnets that say "I woof you" and love, and then it comes with this little plaque that says "Stay positive." And then this one that says pets leave paw prints in your heart. That is prize number 1 if you're interested in that, which is just a fun little thing to do for people. I wanted to do something fun. And then this is prize 2. It's this little coffee mug. To me, you are perfect. And then it has this: I saved my best friend saved me. And then it has this little magnet that says "Be kind." That's prize 2. And then this one is "All you need is love and a dog." That's prize 2. And then last but not least, prize 3. And thanks for staying on there, Carol. While I'm like all. Oh wait, nope.
I'll do a dance number for you while you're gone.
Right, exactly. This is prize 3. It's Pets Turn a House into a Home. And then what's really cool is it comes with these oven mitts that say, if my dog was boss, my life would be perfect. And then it comes.
Your dog was boss. What are you talking about?
Exactly right. And then it comes with this oven mitt and this little oven mitt, and that's prize number 3. So if you guys are like,
and how do people enter to get put into the prizes?
So all they do is just in the comments here, they can put like, hey, prize 1, 2, and 3, and then they'll be entered into a drawing. And then I'm just going to pick somebody, and I'm going to announce that on March 6th, so to have it go through all my launch, so they can say, hey, prize 1, prize 2, prize 3, or all of them, or just one of them, and then I'll do a little raffle for people. And probably what I am going to do is take a picture of all the prizes and do like a post with like, hey, prize 1, prize 2, prize 3. It was just a fun little thing to do in celebration for the launch. And who doesn't love cool, fun pet stuff, right? And who knows, I might have some more giveaways and some more fun stuff up my sleeve as well. So it's just a little thank you that I wanted to give people just because it's fun to do that. So
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you. And I'm even more excited for you. I'm more excited for the people who get to read the book and learn from it and grow from it and deepen the relationships with their own pets because of you. So thank you for the work you do in this world.
Oh, thank you so much. That means so much to me. I'm going to embrace that and soak that in, and thank you. And it means so much to me to be able to do what I do. And I'm so glad for you for spending this time with me. Like, it means so much. And thank you for everybody that listened live, and for people that are listening to the replay. And remember, prize 1, 2, or 3. And I'll do a post later too, where I'll take a picture of all of them and do another one where people can see them right there, because they're fun. Like I want to keep some for myself, but I'm going to give those away to you. So
darn, I didn't see anybody choose prizes. I've got to keep them for myself.
I know exactly. Which, hey, there we go. So yeah, put your name in here. 1, 2, or 3. That's all you got to do, and then I'll do the rest with putting your name in the drawing and ship it out to you. So anyway, so I could just ramble on forever. So I will probably maybe do another live at the end of the day today, because I'm just like on a roll today. It's just fun. So I'm inspired by my fabulous mentor, Sunny. Like, okay, so I'm not sick of myself yet on video. So I guess that means I need to keep going, as she would say. So there we go. So got to keep going. So thank you so much. And I hope you guys all have a good rest of your day. And I will be in touch with you guys soon. Thanks so much. Bye for now.
Have a good one. Thanks, Shauna, for having me on.
Thank you, Carol.